All right, welcome back, folks. We're back at you with another one here, and this is a pretty cool one because I wasn't really expecting it. So I took a trip to my local Target yesterday just to see if they had any kind of new Playmates or any other Playmates figures in there, and surprisingly, I saw these two and another one, and these are, and I didn't get a chance to get these originally, but these are the Battle Roar Godzilla and Kong from Godzilla versus Kong, and these appear to be the Monsterverse edition. Now we know we've been getting Monsterverse figures from Playmates of their Monsterverse line. You know, because this Godzilla vs. Kong was up here when they released it for GVK. So this is obviously a re-release under the Monsterverse line. And I love it because I wasn't able to get my hands on these guys when they were released for GVK. I got the 6-inch figures, but I didn't find these back then. You know, like the GVK line sold, but it didn't sell as much, as far as I know, as the GXK line. At least that's the way it appears to be, because that GXK line lasted a long time in the stores, you know. So, but these are so cool, and I really, really wanted to have them, so I'm glad that I was able to. It cost me $32 for both of them, so roughly $16 each, which is not bad for the Battle Roar figures. That's what they usually go for. And they also had Rubber Gouge, believe it or not, which is Titan Evolution Godzilla, with Godzilla evolved inside from GXK, but Monsterverse line. So they had Rubber Gouge in there. And I was kind of surprised about that. And I think they also have One Eye under the Monsterverse line as well. So, which is all kind of interesting. I like this Monsterverse line. So does this mean Playmates is just going to do Godzilla figures all year long? That would be so great, you know. Give us more of the Monsterverse line. And, you know, I love the boxes for the Monsterverse line too, because, you know, they're beautiful blues and purples, but then they also include the color scheme from the movie here. So that's nice. And on here, you got a nice picture with Kong, Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and of course the big G, Godzilla. There he is. So, yeah, these we'll take a look at the boxes individually, because I'm going to split them up and review them together. So, and you know, we're going with Kongi first, because Kongi always starts off the movie. So we're going to have him start off the review, Kong's journey. But yeah, super cool, man. I love it. All right, so let's dig into it. Okay, so we finally got a GVK Battle Roar Kong. I like it. I like the box, Monster Battle Sounds. I like the blue and purple Monsterverse logo with a shot of all the monsters on it. And Kong looks pretty cool, if not a little wonky, you know. Like, Playmates has progressed with Kong to the point where their Kongs now are much better than these even. But this is pretty cool nonetheless. And I do like it, you know, like it's the detail on it is nice, so we're gonna get to that. It's also got try me, push the button on the back. So the back is where the button is for the sounds on Kong. So let's check that out. Yeah, very cool. All right, so we got the back of the box here. It's got a nice picture of Godzilla, Kong, and Mechagodzilla. Of course, here, push here for Monster Battle Sounds. And then it's got a little bit of a write-up here. The monsters of ancient myths and legends are real and battle for dominance across the worlds humanity's effort to coexist with these titanic forces of nature are led by Monarch, a highly equipped organization of the bravest scientists, adventurers, and military specialists in the world. Now humanity enters a brave new era of discovery and defense in a time of monsters. So, very cool. Godzilla versus Kong on the side. Another nice pick of Kong right here. And let's get him out of the box, folks. All right, so straight away, he feels really nice in hand. Seeing him up close and personal. And I'm really glad that I got this figure as the first impression I'm getting. I think the teeth are well done. The eyes are well done. It's a cool face sculpt. If not so inaccurate and maybe a little bit wonky. You know what I mean? I've said many times, that Playmates has progressively gotten better with Kong. So over time. But this is still cool. It's almost like, almost looks like a cartoon version of him. But I like it. I like the expression on his face. It's a well-done head sculpt. And the detail is pretty much everywhere on this thing. How well done is the fur on the top of the head, on the side of his face, on the beard? That's really nice. I like the way the head looks here, and it's kind of interesting the way the shoulders are done and the fur on the shoulders, if you could see that right there, like the top of them. And, of course, on the arms, the fists, you have the 3 scars here from Godzilla. And articulation, you're not going to get too much. You're going to get the arms, the fists, a little bit of the legs, and the feet. Unfortunately, we don't have head articulation here, which would have been kind of nice if we did, but whatever. It's Battle Roar Kong, so I guess it needs to be straight ahead to function like that. But anyway, and you're not going to get any articulation at the waist either. So, and of course, you see here good detail on the back on the fur, and then this is the button that you push for the roar sounds, obviously. Don't really like that we can see the screw holes, but we're going to look past that because it is Battle Roar GVK Kong here. So, but let's put him in a couple poses and see what he could do. Okay, and you could get him into a really nice fighting stance here, which looks really cool. You can kind of bend the leg back and the feet kind of move to the side, which is nice. The fist, you could turn him, to make it look like he's got his fist balled up, ready to fight. It would be nice if you could turn the head that way, but it is what it is. But you could put him in a nice action pose like this, which looks really cool from the side right there. It looks like he's getting ready to throw a punch, and he's got his other one cocked back. And that's really nice. All right, let's see what else. All right, so you could get Kong in basically a nice running pose. It's limited what you could do. It's the Battle Roar. It's not like it's chock full of articulation, but you could get it into a couple of different poses, And that's a nice running pose, Works. It works. All right. And you could kind of get Kong into a nice galloping on all fours pose, basically. It's not the best galloping on all fours pose, but you could do it. Could kick this leg back, balance him on his leg and his fist, and that's pretty cool. And you could basically put him into like getting ready to beat on his opponent's chest or beat on his opponent's head pose. Both arms cocked back, ready to start beating somebody down, ground and pound style, like Kong's known for, which is another pretty cool pose. And you could get Kong into like another nice action pose. Balances fairly easily, this figure, but you could get him into like a kind of a, charging or stomping pose like that, and that looks very nice as well. Okay, so now I'm going to let you hear Kong's roar. Yeah, man. All right, that's about wraps up Kongi. Let's move on to Godzilla. Okay, the Big G. This is the one I was really excited for because I've kind of always wanted this figure. As I said, aside from the 6 inch set, my Target here didn't have these. You know what I mean? It wasn't as readily available as the GXK line, the GVK line. So, but you know, I had seen this. I had thought it looked cool. I liked the pose. And then also, if you guys remember this, in GXK, the New Empire, when she goes to Bernie's apartment, Bernie has this Battle Roar Godzilla in his apartment, so you get to see it on the screen, which is cool. He also had a Kong, I think it was the 6-inch Kong, but he did have the Battle Roar Godzilla in there. You know, and when I saw it in the movie, it made me want it even more. So I'm really happy I have it. Of course, you see the box is basically the same box. It's a beautiful box with the purples and blues, and you know, everybody from the Monsterverse here on the box. Monster battle sounds. It's got Battle Roar Godzilla on one side, Godzilla versus Kong with the Monarch logo on the other, and then on the back we have the same picture with Godzilla, Kong, and Mechagodzilla, except no hole in the middle where they had, you know, for Kong's Try Me Now. But over here is the same write-up as the last one. I'm not going to read it again. I read it on Kong's box, but very, very cool box, and I like this. I'm not quite sure what the plan is, you know, for the Monsterverse line, or what the situation is. I guess they have the license for the movies, but then they also have the license to do this Monsterverse line. And I'm hoping that they release more monsters on this line. You know, it would be nice to go back and get some of those old ones and some new ones. So, you know, I love that. This looks very cool. It looks better in person than I imagined it. I'm really digging a lot of things about it, which we'll get into further when I get them out of the box. But let's do the Try Me Now, which is right here. You get that roar. You get that with Godzilla's main roar. So it seems to be 2 roars for Godzilla here, where I think there was like 3 or 4 for Kong, which is fine, man. You know, I don't need it to make more than 2 roars. It has a basic roar and then Godzilla's main roar, and that's pretty cool, you know. I love the concept of these battle roars, and the battle roar figures actually looked really nice, you know, for both GVK and GXK. The GXK ones were cool, you know. But this is dope, so let's get them out of the box and take a further look at it. Okay, so here we go. This thing is so nice, man. Really, really nice in hand. It's very impressive looking, I have to say. The pose is so unique. I love, you know, not just the pose of the neck, but also the way the arms are, the way this one is specifically. It's just really, really cool the way they have Godzilla looking into the sky like this, the way his legs are kind of posed with one back and one forward. And I absolutely love the curvature of the tail. Looks great. Of course, you have these beautiful translucent blue dorsal plates that look actually really nice on this. And then it goes into like a North Carolina blue paint for the tail, which it doesn't go to the tip of the tail, but most of the way. This is like the same North Carolina blue that we see on the Heat Ray Godzilla, which I really like that color. And then it's got just some great detail. You see the gills. You see the detail all over his skin. You have some nice dry brushing here on the leg. Let's see if it's on both legs. No. So we got a little dry. That's kind of strange. So that's one thing we have dry brushing on this leg. And then really nowhere else on the figure. So that's kind of odd. Not that it really takes away from it. But that dry brushing is cool. It might have been cool if they did that throughout the body. You know, which makes me think maybe I'll do that. But you have a gray dry brushing on one leg. That's very strange and something to note, you know. I don't know. Maybe that was just for the purpose of the packaging. But I actually quite like it. But it just being on this one leg is not really taking away from the figure. And if you paint, you can go ahead and add a little dry brushing to the chest, the arms, maybe the bottom of the neck and the other leg there. But not quite understanding that approach. That might be the, you know, every figure's got flaws and negatives, so that might be the one negative for this figure, which doesn't really take it all away from the figure and can be easily addressed and fixed, especially if you're good at painting. You know, this figure to me is for the pose of it. I actually, you know, just to show you the mouth here, you're getting good teeth on the front, but on the top, but not really much on the bottom. We do get a painted tongue, but the bottom row of teeth is not there. The top row of teeth is actually very, very well done. You can see the teeth. They look jagged. The eyes are actually pretty nice also. They're a nice shade of blue that match the dorsal plates, and they look very good. You know, I especially like Godzilla's brow right there. You know, and here you could just see it from here. These dorsal plates are quite impressive. The detail on the sides on Godzilla's back are very, very nice. And that's what we're looking like. You got the 2 screw holes on the front, but that's fine, man. You know what I mean? So this is cool. All right, let's see if we could pose them. Let's see if we could pose them and do a few things with them. The tail's on a ball joint, by the way, so you can move the tail. Articulation here is the arms, the legs, and the tail. Can't move them at the waist or the head. But that's fine. It's Battle Roar Godzilla. You know what I mean? So we're expecting the articulation to be limited. But let's dig into it. Let's see if we can move them a little. Okay, so with just a little bit of balancing, I've worked out a very, very nice tail off the ground pose. Looks like Godzilla is charging. And that is fantastic. Have a little patience with the legs. You can balance them like this. And really, that's a dynamic tail off the ground pose. It makes it look like Godzilla just charging at you. Not quite walking on all fours, but this does look like something he was doing during the Hong Kong scene. And that's just so nice and looks amazing. Very, very cool. You can also get Godzilla into kind of a running while looking up pose. Obviously, the head is looking up, but you can make him, you could, you know, move the arms and legs to make it look like he's running while he's looking up. So that's another pose that you could do with it. You know, articulation's obviously going to be limited, but it is what it is. But that's nice. We could bring the arms down like that, and you can move the tail to the side like that. So you just, you know, kind of create Godzilla kind of just looking up, but it's not really an action or attacking or, you know, blowing his atomic breath pose, but just a relaxed pose. But you do get some nice movement on the tail, and the arms and legs move. So there's a few poses you could get it into. It's limited, but it looks nice. Okay, guys, now here's another really nice tail off the ground pose where the tail moves up, which is very nice. You can lift it up and put it down. Guys, the feet move, which help for the balancing as well. And this is another nice action pose. Not really like he's charging at you, but like he's, charging and about to shoot his atomic breath into the air almost. That's very cool, man. Awesome pose. This is such a nice looking figure, man. It really crushes. Honestly, it's just sharp, and I love it. Also, guys, we can achieve a foot stomping pose with a little bit of balance, which is cool. Lift the arms all the way up, use the tail for balance, and you got a bit of a foot stomping pose. So, there is a bit of articulation here that you can pull off some poses, and that looks cool. Right now, I'm once again just going to give you an example of the roar. So it's two different roars. That one, the last one's basically like a regular roar, and then Godzilla's main roar. And yeah, this is really nice. This is a well done figure. I love it, man. For Playmates, I love it. And these two figures, like I said earlier, cost me $16 each. It's a little bit above the 6-inch figures for the Battle Roars. But that looks very, very nice. And yeah, that about wraps it up for Godzilla. Okay, so there we have it, folks. And you can see, the scaling is not quite right. Kong looks too big. He's not that tall. He should be a little shorter than that. So maybe that's one gripe. But I really like the novelty of both of these figures. I dig the gimmick. And I think they both look really cool in their own right. These are figures to post up on your shelf. You know what I mean? And they look quite nice. I like them. Especially the pose of Godzilla. I think that's fantastic. And Kong's face looks crazy, but it's just really cool. These are very animated figures, and I'm super happy to have them. Kudos to Playmates. I love the figures they make for the prices. They put a lot into it for the price that you pay for it. You're getting your money's worth. So, all right, folks, if you like these, go get you some Battle Roar GVK figures. Like the goddamn video, subscribe to my channel, and I will be back at you with another one soon. Peace.